Of June 1993, this is wroxeter. I'm Gary Coates, and on the camera is John. Wait a second there. We're about to go over the road and record the reconstruction of the Roman army tactics and artillery by the Ermine Street Guard at the Wroxeter Baths. And
swords. This allows them to get the feel of the weapons and how to use them without injuring themselves or their opponent. And these weapons would often be made more heavy than the real thing, so that by training with these, using the real weapons became easier. There's a small detachment of soldiers over on the far side learning basic drill manoeuvres, how to march in step, how to march as a body. And walking along the tape closest to you is a soldier carrying the marching pack, which would be carried by every soldier on campaign. This is a marching pole, attached to which are leather haversacks and bags, in which would be carried the grain and items of personal kit which each soldier would need. In addition to that, he might carry an entrenching tool as well. And after the riders, or the recruit riders. As you'll see, the riders are getting the horses used to the idea of the spear flashing past the horse's eyes. These horses are about the largest you would find used by the Roman cavalry. A lot of evidence survives from skeletons of horses. As an accelerator, each of the cavalrymen has a pair of spurs, and as a brake, a curb bit. And by the way, the bits which the riders are using today are modern, but that's because Roman bits, which do survive, are incredibly severe, and it would be very unfortunate if we actually reconstructed and tried to use those. Never work with children and animals. Now you see, this infantryman is not a novice, and he knows that the best thing to do is to get on the rider's unshielded side. So we've now exchanged weapons for a practice lance, which will give the rider a longer reach and take away the infantryman's advantage. He can now get his own back in a big way. I think the horse is feeling pleased with himself, has brought together into the battle tactics which made the Romans so successful. So the Magnifer rejoins the Auxilia, and we'll see the first of these tactical manoeuvres. Remember, if you like to put yourself in the shoes of a Celtic force, in fact if you would like to pretend you're a vast Celtic army in this sort of semicircle, you all fight as individuals. You've got a helmet if you're lucky, you've got a sword or a spear, and you've got a shield, but only if you're very well off have you got a chainmail shirt. And most of you are fighting virtually naked, and you're up against something you've got no concept of, which is a disciplined force. You can see them doing things like changing from column to line, something a Celtic army would be completely incapable of doing, because all they do is fight in a huge mass, capable of charging together, standing their ground or running away en masse, but nothing disciplined. And that's because Celtic society was very much a sort of heroic society. They were just as brave as the Romans, in fact brave to the point of foolhardiness on occasions, but because they weren't organised and weren't disciplined, it would make them easy meat for the similarly sized Roman force, which meant that a small Roman force could tackle a large Celtic army with some success. The troops swing round and the column once again becomes a line. Again, a tactical manoeuvre completely unknown to the Celts, and this must have baffled, bewildered and frightened them when this happened. Now the first thing that will happen is that the standards will retire. The troops are just as well trained as the legionaries, and they would come forward in an attempt to disrupt or even beat the enemy. Coming towards you en masse, you'd be pretty frightened, but if they failed to make a dent in your formation, the legionaries would come forward. Each man can use his sword and shield effectively, the second rank covering the first. The shields themselves can be used as a weapon, punched into the face of an enemy, or catching the enemy under the chin with the leading edge of the shield, and stabbed while they're down. Very methodical. methodical, as you can see, all marching in step. This would have been very intimidating for a Celtic army. Each man able to fight on his front and to defend his flanks to protect his comrades, the second rank there to protect the first, and if a Celtic force managed to break through this group of Romans, there'd probably be a reserve line behind, another 2 ranks or 3 ranks deep, ready to cut them to pieces. It was troops like this, 10,000 strong, that routed and destroyed Boudicca's army of 100,000, remember. Now the soldiers go back into line and will replace their swords. It's very difficult to see the sword scabbards because of your cheek pieces and those, so you just have to know where to put them. Now perhaps one of the most famous of all Roman military formations, the testudo or tortoise. This isn't a battlefield manoeuvre, this is used for sieges, and the idea is that the legionaries march right up to a gate and stand there taking all sorts of punishment from above, whilst engineers run along underneath the legs of the soldiers and then chip away at the walls or set fire to the gates. Slow and methodical, takes a lot of training to do this. In combat there probably would have been shields on the sides as well, but we don't know how that's done because you run out of arms. But it was done because we've seen it on inscriptions. And there's only one serious defence against this, and that is boiling oil, which the Celts didn't have. Unfortunately for the Romans, some of their other opponents did, with horrific results. It's actually very difficult to see where you're going when you're actually inside one of those, and you have to be very careful not to step on your comrade's feet in front, lest he lets go of his shield and the formation falls to bits. Now then, imagine you are a Celtic army, because the Romans are going to attack you. Army very easily, because it's psychological, because you have a natural in. Out come the swords, a glint of armour, and they start to bang the shields to further intimidate the enemy. Remember, you may have lost your shield because a peeler has pierced it. You're standing there virtually naked with a sword in hand, and this is coming towards you. Would you stand or would you run? So, ladies and gentlemen, how about that? That's one of the formations done by just a small body of troops. Imagine a legion. It's now safe to sit down again. Easily. And we'll turn around and recover their javelins, which are on the ground. And then we'll move on to the next part of the display, perhaps one of the most exciting parts of all, which is firing the artillery, which is probably going to be rather more impressive than you might think, because although these are very, very ancient pieces of artillery in terms of technology, they're absolutely deadly. Imagine once again you're Celts, because as a Celt you don't have any artillery. You just sit there and get pounded by arrows and stone balls from a distance that you can't possibly do anything about. And it was artillery like this that was used in field engagements to goad large groups of tribesmen into attacking or running away. And they were also used in sieges to hurl stones over walls, and the arrow fire was used as an anti-personnel weapon, a bit like a machine gun, as there were lots of them in a legion, in order to pick off chieftains and lay down a barrage of fire. As you can see, the line became a column of 2, another manoeuvre the Celts couldn't do, while the wings are still protected by the cavalry. Always there, hovering on the wings, absolutely superb, excellent, both on parade and in combat. Cavalry was used for scouting, it was used for exploiting gaps during the battle, and it was used in the pursuit when the enemy are just trying to run away and save their lives. And it was perhaps in the pursuit that cavalry were their most useful. Right, now the infantry fall out, and once again I will hand over to the magnifer, who will tell you about the deadly effectiveness of Roman artillery.
As you can see, there are 3 artillery weapons on display here. The one closest to you is called an onager. It's a stone thrower. The one in the centre, which is being moved forward by the legionaries, is called a catapulta, and it shoots large arrows or bolts. And the machine furthest away from you is called a ballista, which is also a stone thrower. Now, as you watch, the crews will prepare each weapon and then shoot them. And as each one is shot off, I'll try and tell you a little bit more about them.
Sun's getting right now, isn't it?
Roman Romans developed their artillery weapons from machines which have been brought to this standard by the Greeks, and then developed their own particular refinements to suit their own needs. So first is the catapulta, shooting arrows. Next is the ballista, shooting stones. And next is the onager, once again shooting stones. Now both the catapulta and the ballista are at the moment aiming at the targets over in the corner. Let them get the range. And in this sense it's being used as anti-personnel weapons. The onager isn't even trying to hit those because its purpose is to be used in sieges, to get the ball high into the air so that it'll go down over the enemy's town walls or fortress walls and land on the defenders who are behind. And remember, at this sort of range it wouldn't be about 20 targets that would be presenting themselves, it would be hundreds, and so each of these shots is going to hit and take out someone. As far as the catapulta is concerned, that's full size for a Roman weapon. Each legion would have 60 of these, which could be lined up before a battle and used to put down a field of fire. Picking off enemy individuals, such as chieftains or standard bearers, or just landing in the mass. Both of the stone throwers could be found this size, perhaps in forts, but also for sieges would be made very much larger. And we know that the Romans were capable of building machines which could hurl stones weighing up to 100 weight. And these could be used to batter at fortifications or to batter away at the defenders behind them. Each of these machines gets its power from twisted skeins of rope, which in ancient times would have been made of animal sinew or horsehair. Now we're going to show you how the ballista could also be used in sieges to get the ammunition high into the air so that it drops down behind the enemy fortification and hits the defenders. It's sent on its way. So the machine's been put into a high trajectory position. And there it goes. High up over the wall to drop straight.
Whee! Bong.
Now, you could do the same with the catapulta. It's perfectly capable of hitting an enemy who's a long way away, and we'll show you how.
If I can find it.
So as the enemy army is advancing towards the Romans are still well out of range of enemy bow shot.
Continue to show their loyalty to him and to their own unit. Very, very important. Remember, the empire was vast. Very easy for civil wars to break out with legions deciding to go independent, and so by doing this you maintain the loyalty of the troops. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ermine Street Guard have saluted the Emperor. Will you salute the Ermine Street Guard? And of course, we mustn't forget the cavalry today, and I would like you to put your hands together, please, for the riders from the troop.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now is your opportunity in a second to...
It's not too bad, actually. The silver on the complexity, it's only when you start running around it does get something.
How many of these do you do in a year?
Yeah, society does about 8 displays a year. I tend to have 4 or 5 of those. Usually straight last a weekend, 3 displays a day for 2 days.
And how often do you try to get together?
Well, we come from all over the country, so the only time we do get together is when we do the displays. So, and we have an organisation at the beginning of the year.
So only trying to get once a year?
Well, no, we do about 8 displays a year, so we start doing the training for the first display. So by the end of the weekend, we'll get it together.
And what have you been doing?
I've been doing it for 10 years now.
And how did you proceed up the ranks?
Well, the officers themselves aren't necessarily the people who run the society.
Yeah.
We have an elected committee who runs the society, and the people who are in the committee are the people who know most about the movement. No, we've got all members from all walks of life. There's some children farmer, we've got teachers, archaeologists, engineers. It's a hobby.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this forms part of an extensive programme of events which are free of charge to English Heritage members. So if you haven't yet joined us, join English Heritage today. Not only will you help us preserve the best of the past for the future, but you'll then be able to enjoy free admission to many sites and many events. We'll also refund your admission money in cash, so it's an enormous bargain if you join today. So join English Heritage, do help us out with the great work of preserving great cities like Wroxeter and great castles like Kenilworth, Dover, etc.
So it takes a lot of looking after. Especially if it's raining, you get rusty very quickly. Yeah, just cleaning it. We don't treat it because basically Romans didn't have any of the modern sort of varnishes or lacquers, so we just basically just use razor material what they did. The Romans used chalk dust and olive oil as a razor material.
I'd also ask if I could, if you're heading off home soon, if you would take your litter with you rather than just dumping on the ground, because otherwise someone else, i.e. me, is going to have to clear it all up. So we'd be very grateful if you could take your litter with you or put it in one of the bins provided. Thank you.
Go.
Action. This is wroxeter. How do I look to scale?
Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Can you see this, how much you can get in?
Wow, I'll just do it now. Right, yeah.
You're very technical about this. That's why I'm saying it's absolutely working. But it will confuse the viewers of those.
Confuse me as well. Oh, I'll do a big zoom. There we go. Here we go. I don't know.
See if you can follow me like a Roman reporter and we'll go to the next door.
I'm gonna fall over then.
Okay, we're on. This is feature 9. A clay feature. As excavated by the Birmingham University Field Unit and the members of the department. In this corner, we have a nice drain. Can you see that, cameraman? See that nice bonnish drain?
Yep.
This is very clayey down here. I presume it's natural. And it's got a nice bend in it, really. I don't know if you'll get the colours on the video, but there you go. Moving on. Go on the spore leg. Follow me, boss.
Yeah.
Annika, what's the next clue? What are you looking at? Jamie.
No.
The wheelbarrows.
Simon.
Get Simon. There's Dr. Simon Edwards here, supervising some brushing up and cleaning up of a feature, another clay feature. With Russell also doing a very good impression of a supervisory role. You come across into the middle.
No, not yet.
A nice group of excavators, enthusiastically excavating after having eaten their lunch.
And a close up, I think.
And if you just focus on George and Mooley, look at that bottom, look at that swing. It's a lovely hat as well. But I don't think I can say a lot about this because there's nothing here. This will make such an interesting video.
And turn up.
You know, man. You want to look at the special effects tower? It's possibly, very possibly,
The most boring site in Britain.
no, a foundation wall. But we have some, what's a popcorn kiosk? Definitely a popcorn kiosk, a Roman popcorn kiosk. They used to sell popcorn. It's been finely excavated by the people here, but it's as interesting as the rest of the site. Could be something, then again it probably isn't. These action photos now. You're panning around. Over there is another clay feature. This film's going to be called Clay Feature. Of course, the bottom, which could be a very popular part of the video. There's Simon working hard. We have an Arab there who imports Arabs from Arabia to dig on our side.
Where is he? Yeah, got Jamie.
That's a nice bit of posing here. Yeah, get them in. And Rachel digging with brush.
Oh, I got it before.
Panning round.
Yeah. And again, woo.
Woo.
I think we have a...
Yeah, you can pull whatever you want. This is just a practice room. Nice bit of gobbing. Yet again, you see, pan to your left and see the enthusiastic archaeologists working over there.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, they look filled by this thing.
Yeah. They're getting a bit keen. Oh no, they're stopped now. Yeah. And,
We're going for an exclusive interview with George and Moody because they don't like being on camera. It's very glamorous, isn't it, this archaeology?
Mm. Woo! Smile, Mike. You're on candid camera.
Say something to the camera. News at 10. How have you enjoyed your excavation so far? Thank you for that. Another clay feature. Hang on, hang on. A nice bit of shadow animals there.
Can't think of any more. I don't know. Still in the shadow.
We just get a nice shot of Rachel, the leading lady, brushing back. Smile for us, Rachel. Show us them gleaming teeth. This is Rachel with her clothes on. Later we'll be showing you Rachel without her clothes on for comparison.
It's not very
So I'll be later in the showers. Yeah. Am I here? No?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
So if I was to say, cool, blimey.
What would that we think of?
Hello? We're on.
We're on.
Yeah.
Action. Wheelbarrow. That's Moody. Smile for us. Come on. Smile for the camera.
We've got a find, Gary.
You've got a find.
Yeah.
Where? Come on, show,
Come on,
show,
us the
quick,
find.
quick.
We close up on it.
I've got... Where are you? Where is it? I can't even see it.
Have you got? What, are you on
There it
Moody?
is, look.
You on Moody? Put it against the t-shirt, black hair.
Yeah, go on. Whoa.
Whoa!
Hooray.
We need a find stray now. Most important things of archaeology, I want you to know, is yellow buckets. They're very important. You can't excavate without yellow buckets. Black buckets, no good. Yellow. See
No, I just got black bucket.
what I mean? Can you get Lou's glittery shirting? Because that's brilliant. That'll be special effects, that will. 20th Century Fox. So yet again, I just want to talk you through this one. My talking bit. This is another clay feature.
I'm not even on it. I'm over here.
Which way are you? That's got to be
Yeah.
a clay feature. Whether you're looking.
Yeah. Whichever way you look.
There's a clay feature with a 4-inch.
No, I'm just lying really.
So I'm missing the talk over the most interesting part of the site. It's a shame we can't get a bit of that. You got me, because I like doing all the shots. Come on, say something for the camera, George.
You're not on the camera at the moment.
Hello, Mum.
That was good, yeah, love it.
Very natural.
We'll just have a close up. Whee.
Oh, don't have a close up of them. Are you filming?
Yeah.
I just want to say a very important thing. Clay feature. Do you want to say anything to the folks back home?
Nothing that's viewable.
How much have you been enjoying this dig?
Not much.
Oh, immensely.
Have you?
Yeah.
Mentally?
It's the forefront of archaeology.
Only mentally?
Only
Oh, dear.
mentally.
Yeah.
Right, it's no tea for them.
Just a minute ago. I have. It's a hole. That's about it, really. Yeah.
The hole, and it's
So the
certainly
bishop.
not as sexy as George's hole.
Right, now panning over.
Panning over to the brusher. She used to work as an usherette in the cinema, but now she's an archaeologist. See how she's carefully and tidily brushing around the buckets, not moving them for special effects.
Well, Chrissy wouldn't like that though, would he?
We
Brushing.
used these buckets when we made 2001 to create the moonscape scenes.
Yeah. Right, okay, where are we going now?
Where are we going? We're going
Over
to
there.
the glittery shirt, Lou. Lure and roll. Watch the wheelbarrows, this
Yeah,
is really
okay.
difficult for you.
Oh,
Oh, he's on the feature. We're actually still filming,
yeah.
Bob.
Yep. Bruce.
Fred. Here's Lou excavating what looks familiar to me as a clay feature.
No, don't be silly.
But I think I'm probably interpreting this too technically. And Rob's another person who's going to be here for weeks and weeks on end.
Just like us.
He's now going to do a trick for you.
Can I say bollocks on this video?
No, you can't say bollocks, you can't swear anything, you can't say fuck.
It's a bit late now, isn't it?
Oh.
Right.
We have to go bleed.
After finding £1,000
Okay,
I
I
think.
just want to show you a really interesting trick now. A half-full yellow bucket.
Woo!
Oh, I'm filling it up now. I'd just like to go through the tools of archaeology. Get on me, not on these. This is a site.
No, I want him.
What do you want, Rob?
Yeah, I've got Rob. I don't want you. What do I want you for?
I'll do my supervising role. Oi.
Hey, Rob's running away. No. Right, now what?
Say that we've got no ethnic minorities here. Here's a spade.
Not funny.
Literally unsound joke.
Yeah, get out.
This is a shovel. Have you got a shot at the shovel?
Yeah, let's get a close up with this one. Whee.
See, one of the problems with this site is nothing is colour coordinated. Yellow buckets, red shovels, brown pit. You get a shot of another angle of that interesting clay feature with a drain. That's it, we'll show you the other drain.
Just do a pan in. Get out of the way!
No, I know what.
You were just a minute ago.
No,
Yeah.
Mum.
You're standing on our... just, can you give that back?
Get off my hand.
Throw all that.
Uh-oh, trouble.
Go back and do
Yeah, go on, get on with it. Yeah.
19 seconds, right? That's the most exciting feature of the site.
Yeah.
You've seen these archaeologists, they've really started working now, they've stood up.
Where? Yeah.
Yeah. Just get a shot of our leading man Andy with his top off.
Yeah.
Someone water Andy down so it looks effective. Oh, and look at we have the rock star on the set with his drums.
Yeah, that's why not.
Just to point out clay pictures.
Can't see cases.
No, you can't in black and white. How can you tell it's anything different?
I'm just getting a sort of scenic view of the village and the.
Camera's right traction.
Yep.
This is John, the cameraman. Very talented cameraman. He's, looks a bit like Indiana Jones at the moment. His designer stubble. This is John Bon Jovi. There's his shorts. Get the legs in. This is his ankle today.
There you go. Ooh, full shot of the legs there. There we are. Yes.
This is a standard wear of an archaeologist on site. Strung boots.
Hang on. Get the fags out.
Let's get your fags out.
Fags. Where's the fags gone? There we are. Fags. Right. There we are. Yes. Strong boots. Yep.
Nice tanned legs.
Nice tan legs.
Cut off jeans.
Home in on the legs there briefly. Yes. There we go. Yes. Cut off jeans. Right. Yes. Got them.
Big heart.
Big what?
Big heart. A rock t-shirt. That's just
A rock t-shirt.
a rock t-shirt.
Jovi Bon. Yes. Yes. One rock. Oh, yep. We've got a rock t-shirt there as well.
Come on.
And some designer stubble here.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me a minute.
Get a close up.
There we are. Oh God.
One of the few things about this site is that the actual cameraman and director are bloody sexy. You don't get that on site usually. Answers on the postcard. If you'd like to turn around, I'll show him the other features of archaeological figure. No, you turn around, I want to show you back. That's a bad back from me.
Ooh, yes, that's very bad back, yeah.
That's John the camera.
That's enough, thank you.